Hi everyone, this is Anand David Jonathan and welcome to the Masterclass in Excel. So today's topic in Excel are how to implement some functions, right? So we know the most common sum functions are if, sum if s, right? So today we are going to see how we can implement these three formulas into a large data set and what is the difference between all of these three and when exactly we need to apply these. Okay, so I will quickly go to the data which I have. This is the data of a company rolling month to date data, right? So as you can see here, we have data for 2018, and which is which is rolling months, right? Data from April to December, right? So, while before we do any kind of analysis on any kind of data, so it's very important for us to see what kind of fields are there, right? So as you can see, this company has allocated some seats, right, for their projects. So this is the data which is talking about the seat cost, right? So as you can see, the column AQ is giving you the seat cost and that location, and then how many have been occupied, how many are vacant, right? So we will be using some formulas to basically find out. So this is my dashboard. This is a very simple dashboard, and I'm going to implement these formulas here, right? So as you can see, let me just drag this to. So the condition is that going to write which formula I'm going to use here to derive these matrices, right? So as you can see quickly, friends, uh, the seat cost, right? The total seat cost is going to be the sum of the this column, right? So the total seat cost, whatever it is, so it will be simply the sum formula, right? So I'm just going to take the sum and I'm going to apply it here, right? And I'll say bracket close, and this is going to be, so all these values are in dollars, so I'll just give a dollar symbol here, and I will just remove the decimal sign, right? So this is a very simple formula. I just use a sim because there's some function, because there is no I just have to go here and sum this column, right? And there is no condition, no criteria here to derive this matrix, so I'll just use a simple sum formula, right? As you can see, I've just taken the sum formula and I've just used the column here to derive it. Okay, so now the next one is, how do I you know uh, you know flesh this number into these months, right? So it will be very difficult for me to just select this and sum this up and then apply. So as you can see, 52 grants, right? 52 grand. So this is the number, right? So now the thing is, it's very difficult to do it manually. So how do we do it in a way in a way where we can just write a formula and we can just drag it. So basically here we are going to use a sum if formula, right? So we are going to use only one condition here to summation my complete result, right? So I, I use a SUMIF, and as you can see here, it's asking me the range. So this range is basically the criteria range. uh, I'll go here, and my criteria is basically the month field. So I'll just select the month field. And what is my criteria? So my criteria is basically the month, right? So I'll just select this column, right? And then the sum range, which column I have to sum. I have to sum this column. I need to find out the seat cost for the month, right? So here, okay, so I have actually take this out, and I just have to drag this whole thing, right? So now I can validate the complete thing as well. I'll show you how to do that as well. And you can see, if we are summing this complete, this thing, this is coming equal to this, so that means we have done it correctly, correct? So I just will drag this so that you know. So now the team, you know that, friends, you know that basically in the second condition here we use a criteria. That's why, right? That's why we used a sum if formula, right? Now the next dashboard is going to talk about the vacant seats, right? So now what we're going to talk about is I need the seat cost, but I need the seat cost for the vacant seats only, right? So there is one criteria which I need to use, right? So for this reason, I will use the sum if formula, because remember, sum if formula is used for one criteria only. If you have one criteria, you can use the sum if, right? And if you don't, no criteria, right? If you do not have any criteria, so you just have to use the sum formula, correct? So as you can see here, we have one create criteria here, right? I think I just let me just correct this here. So the total seat cost I have to find out for the vacant seat. So I have one criteria here, so I'll use the SUMIF formula. So as you can see here, SUMIF, and we'll do the same drill here. I'm going to copy the range here for the criteria, which is the vacant seat. I'm going to put this criteria that uh, sum the seat cost for the rows which do not have any vacancy, or which has vacancy, right? So how do I find out that? So this number basically has to be, right, non equal to 0, then only it will be a non it will be a vacancy, right? So I'll do this, and I'll go ahead and put the range as sum. So I hope I was clear about it. So as you can see here, this is my total vacant seat cost, right, which is quite high, as you can see, right? So that's something. And let's go forward. And now the next thing is some you know now the next thing is that uh, in this criteria we just had one criteria to find out, right? That was the months, right? Here also it was the criteria that I need to use the criteria as vacant seats, right? But now when I come to this thing, I have to actually find out a vacant seat, and then the second criteria is the month. So my criteria list have actually increased, and that's the reason I am going to use some ifs. So it will be two criteria, two or more criteria. So if there are two or more criteria, you have to use some if formula. Okay. So this will all fall under sum if s, and let's see the formula how does it works. So the formula sum if s says sum range. So I'm going to select the sum range, the seat cost, right? Because I have to select the seat cost for the vacant seats, right? Then the criteria. Now the criteria range is the month field first. So let me just select this month fields, and the month fields, the month is April. Okay. The second criteria is the sorry criteria is the vacant seat. So I have to select a vacant seat range, and the vacant seat range here will be this, and then I will be oops going to select this and this and this. So I think I just made a memo. Okay, so now I think this is right. Okay, I'll just drag this, and as you can see, and just sum all this to validate my answer, and this is correct. Okay, so so friends, I hope I was able to make this clear that when you have to exactly use some formula. So some formula you have to use where there is no criteria, where there is no criteria. Okay, and you have to use some if there where there is one criteria. Okay, and SUMIFS where there is two or multiple criteria. Okay, so I hope you got the difference between how we have to implement this. I wanted to bring this data set so that it's easier for you to, because in many of the coachings I've seen and YouTube channels I've seen that people are talking about formula implementing formulas on a very simple data set. So I'll be bringing in this YouTube channel a various kind of type of data sets so that you can understand how we have to actually make sense of the fields and how we can implement this. So I hope this is very clear to you. And the next video which I'm going to create is on the count functions, right? So similar to some functions, I'm going to bring in the count if, count ifs, and count function, and I'll show you how on a different data set how we have to implement the those formula. What will be the situations where we have to differentiate, right? So it's very important for professionals to understand where exactly these have to be implemented, how exactly these has to be done, so that you are successful uh, in implementing these formulas, right? And that will make your life easier. So I hope you like the video, you like the situation and the demonstration I've given you. If you like the video, do like and subscribe my YouTube channel, and so that I can bring more videos to you that will help you. All right. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Bye.